Hi students, today we are back with problems related to law of chemical equation. Okay, last class we have discussed the very basic concepts regarding the law of chemical equation. Now we proceed to solve the questions. Okay, here a question is given wherein phosphorus is oxidized to phosphoric acid by concentrated nitric acid, and it is given that 9.3 grams of phosphorus was taken during this reaction. We need to calculate the following. First is the number of moles, second is the mass of phosphoric acid formed, and third is the volume of nitrogen dioxide produced at STP. I forgot to add something. Here the RMM of phosphorus is 31 gram, nitrogen is 14, oxygen is 16, and hydrogen is 1. Okay, so let's proceed to solve this. First question is the number of moles of phosphorus taken. We know that the number of moles is given by the equation N is equal to given mass by RMM. Okay, so here the given mass of phosphorus is 9.3 gram. The RMM is 31. Upon dividing, we will get 0.3 moles. Okay, so the number of moles formed is 0.3. The next question, the mass of phosphoric acid formed. We need to calculate the mass of phosphoric acid. So here you will have to listen in detail. According to the question, when phosphorus react, we get phosphoric acid, right? That means when RMM of phosphorus react, we get RMM of phosphoric acid. Okay. Okay, when RMM of phosphorus react, we get RMM of phosphoric acid. Then we need to calculate if 9.3 gram of phosphorus react, what will be the mass of phosphoric acid formed. Okay, so let's proceed to solve it. First of all, we are going to make the comparison based on mass of phosphorus and mass of phosphoric acid. Okay, we are going to compare them. Okay, so here we will consider the mass of phosphorus, and here we will consider the mass of phosphoric acid, H3PO4. Okay, the RMM of phosphorus is, we know it's 31 gram. Okay, and RMM of phosphoric acid, how do we calculate the RMM of phosphoric acid? Phosphoric acid is H3PO4, right? So here it contains 3 hydrogen atoms. So 3 multiplied by the mass of hydrogen is 1. Okay, plus here it contains 1 phosphorus. So 1 multiplied by RMM of phosphorus, which is 31. Plus here it contains 4 oxygen. So 4 multiplied by mass of oxygen is 16. Upon solving, you will get it as 98 grams. Okay, so the RMM of phosphorus is 31 and phosphoric acid is 98 grams. I hope it's clear now. So when RMM of phosphorus react, we get RMM of phosphoric acid. That means 98 grams is obtained. So we need to calculate when 9.3 grams react, we need to calculate the number of or the mass of phosphoric acid formed. It's just enough to cross the 2. Okay, so x will be approximately equal to 9.3 into 98 divided by 31. Upon solving, you will get it as 29.4 grams. Okay, so the mass of phosphoric acid formed as 29.4 grams. That means when 9.3 grams of phosphorus is taken, you will get 94.4 grams of phosphoric acid. Okay. Once again, I am repeating, here we are going to make the comparison based on the mass of phosphorus given and mass of phosphoric acid formed. Always the mass of one element would be provided in the question, and you have to utilize that given information to find out the details or the mass or the volume or the number of particles of the unknown. Okay, in every question it will be alike. You will be provided the details with respect to one element, and you will have to calculate the others about. You will have to utilize the information given about the element in the question to calculate the unknown quantity about the other element. Okay, so once again I am explaining here. According to the question, if you look at the question carefully, it is observed that when phosphorus react, it is clearly evident that when phosphorus react, we get phosphoric acid, isn't it? So what is implied in the question is when RMM of phosphorus react, when 1 RMM of phosphorus react, we get 1 RMM of phosphoric acid. Okay, we know that the RMM of phosphorus is 31 grams. So when 31 grams of phosphorus react, we get the RMM of phosphoric acid, which is nearly equivalent to 98 grams. Okay, so we need to calculate the mass of phosphoric acid formed when 9.3 gram of phosphorus react. Okay, so corresponding to 9.3, we can take it as x. Just on crossing it, we will get the value of x, which will be about 29.4. Okay, once more the basic concept. Here, according to the question, it is implied in the question that it is clearly implied that when 1 RMM of phosphorus react, we get 1 RMM of phosphoric acid. Okay, when 1 RMM of phosphorus react, we get 1 RMM of phosphoric acid. So we need to calculate the mass of phosphoric acid formed when 9.3 gram of phosphorus react. Okay, so we can write the mass of phosphorus is 31 gram. When 31 gram react, we get the mass of phosphoric acid, which is nearly 98 grams. And when 9.3 grams react, we want to calculate the mass of phosphoric acid. Just we need to cross multiply it and evaluate the value of x. Okay, I hope it's clear now. Now we need to calculate the volume of nitrogen dioxide formed at STP during the reaction. Okay, now carefully listen here. When phosphorus react, when 1 mole of phosphorus react, it is observed that we get 5 moles of nitrogen dioxide. Here the stoichiometry coefficient of nitrogen dioxide is 5. Okay, we already know that 1 mole of any compound will occupy 22.4 liters, isn't it? Here it is seen that 5 moles of nitrogen dioxide is being evolved. So when 1 RMM of phosphorus react, we get 5 moles of nitrogen dioxide, which would indeed occupy 5 into 22.4 liters, right? Since 1 mole of a compound would occupy 22.4 liters, here the number of moles formed is, here the number of moles of nitrogen dioxide formed is 5. So it would occupy nearly 5 into 22.4 liters. Okay, so it is implied that when the RMM of phosphorus, which is 31 gram of phosphorus react, we get 5 into 22.4 liters of nitrogen dioxide. So now we need to calculate the mass or the volume of nitrogen dioxide formed when 9.3 gram of phosphorus react. Okay, so let it be x, and we need to simply cross multiply it and solve for x. Okay, once again I am repeating it. It is clearly implied from the question that when 1 RMM of phosphorus react, we get about 5 mole of nitrogen dioxide. Here the stoichiometric coefficient is 5, isn't it? 1 mole of any compound would occupy 22.4 liters. Here the number of moles of nitrogen dioxide is 5. So when 1 RMM of phosphorus react, we get 5 into 22.4 liters of nitrogen dioxide. Okay, so we can write 31 gram. When 31 gram of phosphorus react, we get about 5 into 22.4 liters of nitrogen dioxide. So now we need to calculate the same for 9.3 grams of phosphorus. It's x, and simply on cross multiplying we will get it as 33.5 liters. Okay, 33.5 liters. Okay, I hope it is clear now. The details about one of the element will be directly provided in the question. The thing is, you will have to utilize it to calculate the unknown details about other reactants or the products given in the equation. Okay, you can make comparison in any of these possible ways. You can compare a mass with another mass. Mass comparison is being possible. Mass volume comparison is possible. Mass and number of particle comparison is possible. Everything is possible. Okay, you will have to pay attention to what is the detail given in the question, and you will have to use the same detail to calculate all the other unknown quantities about the reactants or the products asked in the question. Okay.